Rivian and Lucid have posted their quarterly earnings, and it's a mixed bag. But a bag of what? Probably not something good. We will discuss that today. I am here with Jim, the Iowa Tesla guy. You can find all his links in the description. We're going to have some fun. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, I almost met Jim in Texas for the
Almost.
Cybertruck delivery event, but it was a very chaotic day and there were a lot of people there. Next
Tons.
time.
Next time.
Yeah,
100%.
next time for sure. So I don't know if you heard the big news, but Rivian announced their earnings. And
Oh,
it's
great, right? It was spectacular news, correct?
this may come as a surprise. I hate to tell you this. It was not great.
Oh,
It was not
really?
great. And as a
Oh,
result, they
yeah.
are, yeah, Rivian said they will be cutting 10% of their salaried workforce, which means not assembly, but everything else, and forecast EV production this year. But there was downtime from the factory and high interest rates, of course. And, shares are down. So Rivian said it expects to produce 57,000 vehicles in the coming year, about 1,000 a week, a little over, well below estimates of 81.7, according to analysts. Now, analysts going to do analyst things. I would say the analysts were wrong. They're the ones who missed the projections. What are you thinking about these numbers?
They're not great. I only live about 4-hour drive from the Rivian factory, and I've been there myself. They won't let you in, but it's a huge facility. They definitely have the infrastructure there to get things going, but it's just sad to see a company like Rivian unable to really grasp the scale up. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on inside the heads of that company. If you listen to Elon Musk, he says that the executives are making a big mistake by not sleeping in the factory and putting in 24/7 like he did. Is he right? I don't know. But Rivian's a really great company. If I didn't own a Tesla, I'd own a Rivian. For me, I think it's a great truck. I think everybody that has them love them, and I don't know if they're going to make it. I hope they do. I really hope they do. But they got to figure this thing out.
I am rooting for them, but I am also deeply skeptical because their cash burn is bad, but on the plus side, they are making moves to right size the ship to slow that cash burn. 10% of salaried workers, that's pretty good. I actually know someone who interviewed at Rivian, a senior
Really?
engineer at Ford, and he asked for, when they said, "What's your salary expectation?" He said, "Yeah, about what I'm making now." And he later found out he didn't get the job because he didn't ask for enough. And
Really? That's odd.
that's a weird mistake to make if true. Workers have a tough morning ahead. Yeah, slower than expected growth. Now, that mid-size one, that smaller version of the R1S is going to be announced on
Mhm.
March 7th.
Yeah, the
That's
R2.
the R2. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I think if Rivian can survive long enough to get that into production, they'll stand a far better chance.
Yeah, that's the key question there is how close are they to production? Have they been working on this behind the scenes skunk works? They got it almost ready to go, announced to the world to say we're delivering in 9 to 12 months, or is this like we've got a Cybertruck type of thing where we're not going to see an R2 for 4 years? So if it's 4 years out, I think they're in trouble. I think they're in real trouble.
I would I would agree with that. Now that old factory they've got in Normal, is that where it is?
Yep. Yep.
That
Normal, Illinois.
was that a Mitsubishi factory, I think? They got
Sounds right.
one heck of a deal on it because it was a stranded asset and they picked it up for something. It's a huge cavernous space and they picked
Yeah,
it up
it's
for
huge.
something like 14 million or 30 million, something ridiculous. And it included a lot of equipment. So they got a good opportunity there. We'll see if they can make anything of it. Do you know Lucid has also released their earnings?
Yeah, that one doesn't surprise me. Honestly, I don't know why this company is actually still in business. They shouldn't be by all measure. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, someone has to pay Peter his stock grants. You know, he got what, 6 million or 10 million in stock awards recently for this
Yeah,
amazing performance, which is
yeah, and it's crazy. We even went online and tried to tell the media why he wasn't getting paid so much and why it really wasn't that big a deal. It just things just don't add up over there. And, it's an interesting car, um, but they're appealing to the very, very high end of the market. And I don't know that that's where you need to be right now in order to be cranking out any amount of profit. I mean, they're losing what, $220,000 per car, I think is what I read it. And that's just amazing to wrap my head around.
that might be per car produced, but per car sold, it's more like 377 or
Ouch.
373. It is an eye-watering sum. There's a problem they have. There's a gentleman I interact with on X from time to time who came back and said, "Nope, these are good numbers. I'm happy with it." And I said, "Buddy, I made a video like a week or two ago predicting what would happen with the earnings report, and it happened because, of course, it
Hmm.
did. It was in line with expectations and what we know. We saw the production numbers. There's only so much you can wiggle around with that. And the real problem is uh, warranty costs are eating them alive. They don't
Oh,
have superior tech. What they have is an uncorked street legal race car. And when you uncork something, it's going to break. When you don't design for failure, failures occur. They will occur and costs become prohibitive. And he said, "No, I've been very happy with mine." So I went ahead and looked. He had his whole battery replaced because he got
wow,
an error
already.
message on the screen already. He got an error message on the screen. He brought it in, and whatever it was, they couldn't fix it without replacing the entire pack. And I said, "My friend, your car is the problem. It is what is wrong with the company, among a few other things." But you know what would be great for them is if they had a second factory. I don't know, maybe in a country that doesn't make cars.
Like Saudi Arabia.
What a goofy idea. Apparently they've already built 800. Do you understand what a substantial percentage of their total production that is? That's too many. Where are they going? Are you shipping them back? Because Saudi Arabia is not a very large car market.
No.
I know they had said the Saudis agreed to buy 100,000 cars, but then they didn't because what on earth would you do? You'd have to use them as building material. There's that's too many. They don't have 100,000 taxis and police cars. And what wealthy person wants to buy a car that's associated with something so low class as a taxi? So it's pretty weird. The whole thing is weird. And yeah, 9.5 billion loss lifetime. Since inception, 9.5 billion down the tubes. This quarter was no exception. They lost what, $700 million this quarter, something like that.
Yeah,
And
something big.
I've seen one analyst said, well, that means they've got enough money left to last for into 2026. Now, once you get under a certain point, you are in danger and you can no longer get good terms. You can no longer net 30 all your parts. People will want payment up front. The market
Yep.
recognizes you are in absolute death mode. Um, you spiral at that point. So they've got fewer quarters before they need to do some pretty ridiculous. I mean, think when you talk about dilution, did you know that since the Boston Tea Party, the entire ocean is technically tea?
Well, it's technically a lot of other things too.
It is also those things. Best not to think about the other things that it definitely also is.
I'm gonna be up late at night thinking about that. I can tell you
I
right now. So,
apologize, Jim. I didn't mean to put that image in your head. I don't see a path for Lucid. They do have their gravity coming out. Do you think that might save them?
I don't think anything's going to save them. I think either A, they're bargaining to get bought by somebody and try to get cashed out, or B, they're doing some weird, strange Saudi Arabian money laundering kind of scheme that is. I don't know. Is this a Brewster's Billions situation where they got to spend all their money in order to get like a massive payout from some rich sheik somewhere? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't. And shareholders today looking at it saying, you don't understand, the Saudis will not let them go bankrupt. You don't know that, and neither do I. But if they come to the rescue, let's say they get the Gravity out, it's not going to sell enough units to stop even today's cash burn. And then you've got the mid-size that they want to release after that. You're going to need 2 to 4 billion to build that assembly line, to build that facility that will build it. It's a problem. If you're trying to
Yeah.
inject $4 billion into a company that's only worth $1 billion, you've just lost 80% of your equity. And I don't know what the market cap would be at that point. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter how you slice it. In 2023, they only produced 9,000 cars. That's not necessarily sold, but produced. And it doesn't really matter how you slice the pie. When you only make 9,000 cars, as a production car company, you're gonna be losing a ton of money. They got to get their volume up, and they got to either do that through optimization of their products, or they need to find better market segments to get that appeal up. But if we think Rivian's in trouble, Lucid is like way further down the road as far as getting even to where Rivian is, in my opinion. So they got a tough road to hoe here.
Yeah. So you'll also notice that they did not announce 10% layoffs. They're
No,
they're they're staying the course.
which makes me wonder what's really going on there. It just doesn't make any business sense.
It does
Um,
not.
Time may tell.
Oh, time gonna tell. Time is gonna tell. So, for folks who don't know, in June, there's a big event in Muskegon, Michigan. It's June 15th. It will not be held at the beach this year. It'll be held at Heritage Park. So it's a much bigger venue. There will be a variety of big caliber guest speakers. Dirty Tesla, Dr. Know-It-All, Dr. Scott Walter will be there. Bearded Tesla Guy, I'll be there somehow. And and Jim is trying to find a way that he can come as well. We would love to have him out there joining us. It'd be a lot of fun. You should tell him in the comments. Oh, you got
I
that
didn't know I'd do
accidental
that.
fireworks. I can tell you. That's very fancy. So yeah.
Yes, nothing
So
but nothing but the best here.
and it is a free event, so definitely check it out if you get a chance. Guys, in the comments, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Lucid lovers, tell us how we're wrong, as you always do, but stick to facts. Facts are your friends. The numbers don't lie. Everybody else, like, subscribe, do those usual things. Maybe head over to Iowa Tesla Guy's links, which will be in the description. He's on X, where he's active. He's on YouTube, where he's active. And he puts out some great stuff. Yeah,
Thank you.
and everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots, perhaps at the Michigan event.